Harry Kane, who Tottenham Hotspur won. Manchester City, champions of England, with £100 million Jack Grealish in their team, nil. The champions defeated at the first hurdle. That's 2 games on the bounce with 1-0 defeats for Pep Guardiola's men. And Tottenham Hotspur, did they deserve that today? They started off under the cosh, but they grew into that game. It was a Nuno masterclass. They attacked at the right times. Their counter-attack was scintillating. They probably should have scored 2 or 3 more goals today with the opportunities that they created. Tanganga absolutely bodied Raheem Sterling. Absolutely destroyed and dominated Jack Grealish today. What a left-hand side attack we had there with Manchester City. But Tanganga was... I ain't having any of it. I'm not having any of it. You're not getting any change out of me. Man of the match from Sky Sports this afternoon with his performance. And of course, Son Heung-min. This man has signed a new deal. He's dedicated himself to Tottenham Hotspur. And I thought he had a bit of a slow start. And then he pops up with an absolute quality goal. It was sensational to a man. Sensational to a man. And after that, if we're being honest, it was one chance terribly missed by Ferran Torres. Terrible miss from Ferran Torres. Can't get away from that one at all. But Tottenham nullified them for large parts. KDB came on, couldn't really change the game. And listen, Manchester City are, of course, the favourites. They are, of course, the favourites to go and win this league title, still in many people's eyes, and I understand why. But they're getting off to a slow start. And yes, it's against Spurs, but everybody was writing Spurs off. They're going to be poor. They're going to be too negative. Excellent today from the Lily Whites of North London. And I wonder how much money Man City are now prepared to pay for Harry Kane. Will that bid be coming in? Throw in a star striker or 2 with the money from Harry Kane, and this Tottenham team could be dangerous. Romero to be bled in. Hill to be bled in. New manager, new ideas. Nuno is a very good coach as well. But do me a favor now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this stream past... Get it past 1,000 likes. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. You know what's coming next, people. Let's go! Oh, absolutely magnificent. Welcome back, one and all, to the Football Terrace. We're going to share the link very soon for you to come on and have your say. But what a performance. Ginger Fury here says, was Grealish playing... Not a very good debut, was it? He didn't have a good day at all, Jack Grealish, and so much credit has to go to Tanganga for that. He just had him. He was aggressive. Yeah, he gave away a few fouls. I thought those fouls were a little bit soft, but the pressure that he placed upon Jack Grealish made it very difficult for him. And he also stopped Raheem Sterling at the same time. It was an absolutely sensational performance. A sensational performance to a man from Tanganga today. And look, Jack Grealish, he's going to have many good performances in a Manchester City shirt, but today wasn't the day for him. Maria Williams here with Come On You Spurs. I don't know if you members know this. We have a brand new Spurs emoji. You got to keep checking out these emojis. We've got a brand new one out there. There you can see it. I'm spamming it into the comment section. We've got the brand new Spurs emoji that we've put out for you to come on and have your say with. So, you know what I mean? Get it done now. Get the Spurs emoji out there. We want to hear from you today. Man Like Leaf says, Tanganga is a monster. The new Wan-Bissaka. He certainly was good today. Terry, I put in the comments on your prediction show, Terry. United to win the league, already in motion. Listen, I'll be honest with you. There's a long way to go yet for all the clubs involved. But Man United have what you would call a more simplistic start to this campaign. A lot of the big teams, a lot of the other title contenders all have to play one another. And because they have to play one another, for me, it's a case of let's get at them now. Let's get under their skin now. Let's make things difficult for them at this moment in time and put the pressure on them. We've got a super chat here that says, but the same thing happened last season. Tottenham won their first match against City, and they were still trash most of the campaign. I do understand that, and this is only my opinion. Nuno is a class manager, and I'm really shocked that so many people in football have written this man off. What he was doing at Wolves for the budget that he had, for the size of the club, has been astounding. He's now gone to a club with a a bigger history in the Premier League, a very, very talented squad indeed. And look, if Spurs would have pulled their finger out and brought him in straight away, they'd be even more ready. But they were organised today. It's the best defensive performance I've seen from Tottenham Hotspur in about 2 years. Defensively astute. Very rarely were they opened up. And remember, they're playing the best in the business at opening teams up. A long way to go for Tottenham. We're not talking about being title contenders. I don't even know. Spurs fans might want to say today that they think they're going to be title challengers top 4 contenders with a performance like that. But don't write Nuno off, my friend. Malik here with a super chat says, for a player that costs as much as Jack Grealish, he should be making 4 assists per game. Piss off Graham Souness. I love how people always try to play down Paul Pogba. And I hear you on that. I saw those comments from from Graham Souness, and I just thought to myself, what a pleb. That's all I could say is what a pleb. A cast iron pleb would come out with those kind of comments. M Mojo says Chelsea winning the league. London is blue. V33 says Fraudiola is being found out. It wasn't a lucky win. It was a tactical masterclass. Let's be honest about it. It was sensational. It was absolutely sensational from Nuno and from Tottenham today. Cannot be played down. Shouldn't be played down. We've attached the link if you want to phone in and have your say right now. It's in the comment sections. Members, spam that brand new Tottenham emoji that we've got for you exclusively on the Football Terrace as well. If you want to become a member, click on the link in the description below. We've got Alex to come on soon. We're going to get Alex on in just a moment. I think Alex is actually at the ground. So we're going to jump into this now with Alex to see what he's got to say. Keep those super chats coming, people. Let's go.
I'm in the stadium, Terry. I can't really hear you.
And just tell me about
just
tell me about the performance, mate.
Just quickly, because I'm on mobile data. Just buzzing that we won today. It's just so incredible to be back, at least in the stadium today. Really, really good. It's great performances from us. Tanganga, really, really good. Just a really good feeling. But it's only the first game. But yeah, just very good vibes.
Absolutely. I mean, did you, as a Tottenham fan, did you like notice a difference in the way Nuno had you structured and playing today? Was it entertaining?
Can't hear you.
And I think so. From your point,
again, Terry?
Yeah, did you find that Nuno's approach was entertaining? Gonna put earphones in. Right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, Alex.
You just have to let me go. But thanks, mate.
Alex, thank you. Always try and put the earphones in before you call in. Bless his heart. But listen, I was entertained by Nuno today. I enjoyed that game. Yes, there were moments of it where City dominated. They had a lot more of the ball, 66%, I believe it was, to 33%. But it was 13 shots to Tottenham, 18 shots to Manchester City. But if we're being honest, it was only after the goal that City kind of accelerated past them in shots. Up until the goal, it was about 50-50. And that's what matters. It isn't about having all of the ball. It's about doing the best with your opportunities and chances, and they certainly did that today. This excellent Tottenham team and the great display that they put into they put out there on the field of play. Ginger Fury here says, "Do you think the £100 million price tag will weigh heavy on Jack Grealish?" I don't know. I think it's too soon to be writing him off, calling him a flop or anything along those lines. It was, you've got to remember, they are playing Tottenham as well. But it was I thought it was a poor, we've got to judge him as a £100 million player. And I thought it was a poor performance by the standards that we hold Jack Grealish to. Will he get better? Yes. Will he perform and deliver in a Manchester City shirt? In my opinion, absolutely he will. Will it weigh heavy on him? We'll see. We know what will happen, though, is social media is he was getting little jeers and boos today, probably because of the cost of him, right? And he's going to get that everywhere he goes. He's going to feel the pressure now. Man City have gone beyond 50, 60 million pound signings, and they've moved into the stratosphere of players. DJB says, can't believe we sent Tanganga on loan. There is I can't believe we sent Tanganga on loan. That's a no-no. Nuno and Harry, I hope you watched this. Come on, you Spurs. Well, I wonder what Harry Kane is thinking right now. I really do. Terry, is Bruno Fernandes now better than KDB? Listen, everyone knows that I would not pick KDB over Bruno Fernandes for this Manchester United team. But there's a reason for that. Because we don't need a KDB in this Man United team because we have Paul Pogba. We have Paul Pogba and KDB. And as a pairing, we have the best creator and the best goal scorer midfielder in the Premier League, in my opinion. I don't think I've seen Mora this good since the semi-final against Ajax. Nuno is going to do work this season. Also, Skip was immense. Skip was excellent in the central midfield area. Not to forget him at all. I think to a man, even Eric Dyer and Sanchez performed well today. And that's because they were in an excellent structure that complemented them. There wasn't a Spurs performer today that was bad. There wasn't a Spurs performance today that you'd be worried or concerned about. It was excellence. Hey, Terry, it's clear City need a striker. And that's the thing I was going to say. So Harry Kane might be thinking, oh, we look good under Nuno. Man City are going to be thinking, get the checkbook out. Let's go and land Harry Kane. But with the way Spurs play today, you throw in a Lautaro Martinez, you throw in a Vlahovic to a team like that, and you have a serious team. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. It truly, truly is. We're going to go to some more calls in a moment. I want you all to come on and have your say. The link is attached. But let's get this stream past 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Spurs 1, Manchester City 0. What an opening weekend of the Premier League we have had already. Alan's with me next. Leafs to come. Donny Rovers are in the house as well. But I want you guys to dial up. If you've got Spurs friends, send them the link. Send them to the football terrace. Alan's here now, people. Let's do this. Alan, what a performance. Opening day of the season. Nuno masterclass. Sonny killing it. Give me your thoughts, mate.
I was not expecting that at all. With the pre-season, everything around Harry Kane, the back line, like Dyer and Sanchez, I've been massively critical of them, and everything came off today. It was a good time to play City. First game of the season, you can catch them cold. They started better. We done what Chelsea normally do against them, and that's block the middle of the pitch and send them out wide, and they found it hard to get past us. Yeah, it's great. I'm just shocked at the result. I was not expecting it. Happy with it. It's only the first game, and let's just go from here and see where we end up, because I think everyone was pretty much predicting a Man City spanking today. But yeah, I'm happy about it.
Do you know what's interesting? I mean, I haven't predicted at this point or said anything about Spurs making it into the top 4, because that's going to be difficult. But I've been very shocked and a little bit upset with the football world for writing off the appointment of Nuno, because I've always had a lot of time for him. I think he's one of the next great managers in football. And what I saw today, and I wanted to get your opinion on, is I saw organization. I saw a system. I saw a togetherness. I saw a Tottenham team with purpose.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, like, literally, it was like there was no fear now attacking. So as soon as the ball got played up, Mora today was sensational for me. Taking the ball, turning, driving at Man City, they couldn't cope with him. It was just that no fear of when the ball went up there to be able to get forward and attack, which was really good. Bergwijn, for me, the only thing with him is he's finishing. I'm hoping that will come. He looks like he's got a lot more confidence. He just needs to worry about shooting. Son, as always, top class. I still think if Harry Kane goes, we need a striker. I don't think Son can play that number 9. He's better, dropping deep, coming off the wing. But yeah, the system was really good. Skip grew into the game. Tanganga was sensational. Absolutely owned Sterling and Grealish, for the majority of that game. It seems that Nuno's implemented his style, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. we still need to do quite a bit of business to have a stronger team altogether. But it's a positive start and one that I didn't see coming, one that I'm absolutely shocked about. But you take what you can get, pretty much.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like when you play a team like Man City and you get the win, it always feels like a bonus, because in the back of your mind, there's always that, we are likely to lose today. So anything above that's a bonus. In terms of the Harry Kane situation, now, what do you expect to happen from this point?
I've said since the end of when he said he was going to go, he wanted to leave. I've said he's going to go Man City. I still think that's the case. I think Daniel Levy and Tottenham are doing what they're doing to get the most money for him. I just hope that we do business a bit quicker than we have so far this summer, so we can get the right replacements in. Because although it was a good 1-0 victory today, it's very early in the season. You know, we need to be able to change it up and have a target man to hit in some games, and play something off the off the wing. So you need to change it up. But so far, so good. I think Kane's going to go. So as long as we can get the right deal with him in, maybe an additional player as well in Laporte to help with the defense. But yeah, that's. I still think he's going to go. I've always said he's going to go Man City.
Yeah, I listen, man. I completely agree with you. I think that I'm more leaning towards. I always said that if he didn't play or wasn't involved today, I would be sure. I felt like that would be him almost gone. It's a very convenient excuse to say that he isn't fit. He's barely been in training, but he returned a week late, because they were never gonna. I don't think they're gonna ever have him play in this game, be involved in this game in either direction. Even if Levy sat there and thought, I will sell him for the right money, they were never going to have his first game be against Tottenham. I think when those fixtures came out, and I never believe those fixtures are completely random, I feel like this was always going to be the case today. But it's going to be an interesting next 7 days now. But at least I think Spurs can go into it going, hang on, we look all right. Good cohesion, good performances. You are, by the way, going to buy 1 or 2 replacements for Kane of very high quality as well. You're in deep negotiations for Vlahovic. And also for Lautaro Martinez isn't over. It legitimately isn't over as a deal right now. So let's see what happens in that space.
Yeah, hopefully it's like I say, you can get the deals over the line. Normally with Spurs, we'll end up with one marquee signing, the rest like we get, but if we can, Romero was one of our top targets in defence. We can get 2 up front as well, then it's a good start to the season. And with the additions that we're trying to get in, it looks like a positive season. I was having us about 6th or 7th, and I still think so far, although it's one game, we'll be 6th or 7th this season, depending on how the signings go. It could be better, but I'm not, getting gas for the top 4 just yet. I think there's 4 teams clear at the moment. We'll just have to wait and see.
Absolutely, mate. Listen, great call as ever. Top man. Thank you very much, mate. Speak to you again soon. Cheers, Alan.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Top man. Thank you. Listen, smash the like button for us. Everybody over on Give Me Sport Facebook, smash the like button. Make sure you come and subscribe to us over here on the Football Terrace on YouTube as well. Big match reactions every single week on Give Me Sport. Of course, always going to remain live here on the Football Terrace as well. But what I do need for you to do is let's have a little competition. Who can hit the most likes, Facebook or YouTube? YouTube currently killing Facebook right now. With just over 500 likes, only around the 30 mark over on Facebook. Let's see who can win by the end. I think Facebook is catching up very, very quickly now. Everyone's hitting those like buttons. So YouTube, make sure you stay ahead, people. Leaf is up on the show next. Big Tottenham fan. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hi.
How you doing, buddy? Give me your thoughts.
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. What a win. I predicted this, actually, but I didn't expect it at all. I mean, we were so good. This was so different from a Mourinho, from a Mourinho win, because we actually the front 4, front 5, they were very attacking. It wasn't maybe Son playing left back or Bergwijn playing right center back. They were actually going forward. Tanganga, a man of the match, I think player of the week, because he pocketed not only Grealish and Sterling, but both of them. I mean, it was really good. Really good game, and it's a one-off game. Always when we play City, it's a one-off game, because you're not always gonna play City every time, so you're not always gonna counter-attack. And if it's a really hard one-off game, it's 3 points just like that. It's 3 points.
Absolutely. And listen, the performance was great. Tanganga was absolutely brilliant. What did you make of that very fluid front three? No central striker.
Yeah.
Did you like how that looked today?
I think we still really need one. I think we need one to hold the ball. We don't need necessarily a striker. We need someone who can hold the ball really well. Son could do that, but I don't think he will. But then again, if we sell Kane, we'll get 2 other new strikers. So we're gonna sell him for a lot of money. So it was very good. The front three, you asked me the fluidity. Yeah, typical Nuno. He did that at Valencia. He did that at Wolves. It's always going to be like that, and it's really hard for defenders to mark Son and all that.
Yeah, 110%. Very, very difficult indeed. Listen, Leaf, top man, thank you for coming on and giving us your thoughts and opinions. Love it, mate. You take care of yourself, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. Rich and Matt, Sports Chat, thank you very much for becoming legends and super fans of the Football Terrace. Got a comment here that says Man City balled. Pep, what's up, Pep? We couldn't win because we haven't signed Kane. Listen, I think a conversation like that is most certainly going to be happening this evening. There's no doubt about it. We have a super chat that says Nuno playing defensive, but telling the forward players to attack and relieve pressure on Dyer and Sanchez. This is, if this was Mourinho, we bottle this game. And do you know what's interesting about that comment? Playing pragmatically at times when you're up against a team like Man City, who are superior to you pound for pound. It's sensible. If you're a boxer and you're in the ring, you've got a good jaw and you've got decent power. But if you're in there against a killer, if you're in there against a man who's got a cast iron lead jaw and his punch power is the best in your weight class, you don't stand toe to toe. Only an idiot would stand toe to toe. And you're never going to do that. But what Tottenham did well today was they counter-attacked bravely with 2s, 3s, and 4s, sometimes 5 players, which meant it was potent. That makes your opponents reluctant to commit more men forward because your counter-attacks are scaring them. Too often when teams play Man City, everybody sits back and they attack in 1s and 2s. And in the opening 15 minutes, I was watching the game with my dad, who's a Spurs fan, by the way, and Spurs were doing what everyone typically does against City when they're in the ascendancy. It was stupid Hollywood balls, not trying to retain possession and not attacking in numbers, almost hot potato with the ball. I don't want responsibility. Once they settled and they slipped into Nuno's system, they were absolutely brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant to a man. To a man. Sally Ann here over on Facebook says a good win, but your fans should be demanding a major trophy. Shocking for a big club. All Spurs fans I know just concentrate on what Arsenal or Man United are doing. Start showing that you want your team to win something and how the club that size cannot win the league for nearly 60 years. And look, I think a lot of Spurs fans, Sally, do want that. But you're right. There's got to be more of a public demand for it, especially with that beautiful, beautiful new stadium. Henry here says, stop. Don't blame not having Kane. Your team have spent hundreds of millions and were poor. And that's very, very true, Henry. The Harry Kane thing for me is a Fugazi argument. I read a stat before the game kicked off. The team was on purchase value, not on player value now, but on purchase value today for Man City was something like £550 million. There is never an excuse other than for Man City, other than the other team were better than us today. Yes, they've still got KDBs and Phil Fodens to get fit and bring into the side, but they still had enough. Pound for pound today, City had the stronger team. Spurs were just better. And what has helped this weekend, have we noticed that this weekend, home support has just been phenomenal. And in most cases, have just carried a team forward. The energy, the noise. There was tackles. I saw a tackle from Berg. I want to say it was Bergwijn, about 65th, 70th minute, where he wins the ball. And it was a good tackle. It was nothing to write home about. But the crowd were just like incensed. And that energy does two things. It saps something away from Man City, and it rejuvenates and generates a response from those Tottenham players, gives them even more energy to continue pushing forward and to continue fighting. And it was nothing short of sensational. Nothing short of sensational today. Leaf here with a comment says, as I said, this is a one-off game. It's always like that against City. Oh, and by the way, you're welcome, Chelsea. You already have 3 points ahead of them. Can we please have Kunde now? Obviously, they're having a little bit of fun with Chelsea fans. Make sure you subscribe to the Football Terrace if you haven't done so already. Chris here, another member of ours, says, Jamal, okay, you're talking to each other. I thought it was going to be a comment about the game. Phantom of so many topics here, one of our wonderful members. He says, Grealish made a Werner kick to the goalkeeper. Yeah, he really didn't do so well today. He really didn't do so well at all today. Look, it'll get better. There's no doubt about it. We're not going to be calling the man a flop just yet, but he does need to improve without a shadow of a doubt. Next caller we're going to go to is Jamie D. Jamie D's on the Football Terrace. What you saying? Who do you support and what you saying?
Hey, Terry, can you hear me?
Yes, mate. Who do you support, buddy?
Support Bayern Munich, mate.
Lovely. What do you want to say, though?
I just want to briefly talk about the game, really. Honestly, Terry, I'm in complete agreement with you, mate. Like, how on earth have people disrespected Nuno like this, man? Like, literally, like, he's such a brilliant coach. Like, the only reason why his stint at Wolves ended poorly was, like, they spent loads of money on him and he just couldn't get the best out of Fabio Silva, man. But, yeah, man, on to the game, yeah? City, they just don't really... I know they, like, now predominantly don't have a striker and play with false nine, but to me, I don't think they can get away with it twice. And I do think, and I know I'm coming across giving them excuses, but I do think they do need a striker to mix up a bit, because Jesus, although he's a striker, you know what I mean, he doesn't really hold the ball up. He doesn't really, you know what I mean, like draw players like much towards him. It's mainly like your like Bernardo Silvas and KDBs and that. For Spurs though, great win for them. And I honestly think Spurs fans should be a bit optimistic. You know, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I think they've got a better squad than Arsenal. Arguably a better squad than Villa, and I just generally think they should, you know what I mean, just like, to me, this is kind of a bit of like a free hit season for them, you know. Oh, and rest in peace, Gerd Muller, man, such a brilliant legend of the game.
Absolutely. Listen, great call, Jamie. Top man. Thank you for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Do some more comments here. Rack's coming on very soon. We've got Egal backstage. I'm really intrigued to say what he's got to say. Dean is coming on the show next. Dean, welcome to the terrace. Who do you support, mate? You're on mute if you're trying to talk, Dean. Okay, maybe Dean's not there ready to go. So instead, we're going to go to Egal. Egal's coming on to have his say now. Of course, Arsenal lost to Brentford. And now he's seen his biggest rivals. He's seen his biggest rivals beat the champions on their opening day game. I wonder what he's thinking and feeling now. Philip Coutinho may be on his way to Arsenal. Laka and Aubameyang out the other way. It's not. It can't be good. It can't be good. Egal's here, people. Let's go.
Terry, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm very, very good. Give me your thoughts, first of all, on Tottenham's excellent performance and win today.
I think the referees helped them a lot when it comes down to it, because when it comes to fouls in the first half, if you look at how many times they fouled Jack Grealish and Raheem Sterling, and they didn't get any bookings early in the game, the referee really did help Tottenham overall when it comes to them not getting early yellow cards, and it would change their ability to put in those late tackles later in the game when they needed to put those challenges, and they could still get cards late in the game, like in the 87th minute or whatever minute you've seen Lucas Moura get a card. He could have been sent off at that point. No, I'm just saying, with the way Jack Grealish kept getting kicked, the same way that you've seen Raheem Sterling getting kicked the whole time, I'm thinking the referees need to protect these players a little bit more, because I see the same thing happen to Arsenal. I see the same thing happen to all these other teams. Some teams just kick the living daylights out of certain players and they don't get bookings. And where's the consistency? Because if this was a different team and it was a different game, I don't think they would be as relaxed when it comes to.
Hang on, Egal. They were not fouls on Raheem Sterling and on Grealish. They were solid challenges. None of them were bookable offences. It was
Really?
It was atrocious when they called over Tanganga and they called the captain over. It was atrocious. That all that Tanganga was doing was making himself be known. He wasn't treading on calves. He wasn't kicking the Achilles. He wasn't going in with his studs showing. It was just shoulder to shoulder. What it is with you, Igal, you were just bitter and sore that Tottenham look very good today, and they've still got to integrate one of the best young centre-backs in Europe, one of the best young new creators in Europe in Hill, and they're probably going to sign 2 or 3 other stars. That's you're looking at it going,
Okay,
I can't believe
let me.
You're so bitter.
I shouldn't have started with that. Maybe let me say this: they did look good today. They won the game. Good job. Nuno Espirito Santos was one of my first choices actually when Emery got sacked. So I'm quite happy that we I can't even say that I'm quite happy that they got him. He's a good manager. Nuno is a good manager, and Tottenham got themselves a good manager. Arsenal, we got ourselves a mess right now. So in comparison to that, I'm not going to throw salt at their way. But when it comes down to it, there should have been a lot more bookings in this game. I just felt like there should have been more bookings in this game. And when it comes down to it, Man City were lackluster. They do this all the time, where they're in preseason mode at the beginning of the season, and then they click into gear and go on to a 10-game winning streak. So by the time they play us, they'll probably be out of preseason mode. But at the moment, they're still in that preseason mode. And Harry Kane watching this game today, he's thinking, hey, this is good. This is great because Tottenham won. Man City are now more in pressure to go sign me. And Pep Guardiola is going to go back to the dressing room, probably somewhat happy that he might get the investment now to go get Harry Kane, because Harry Kane is not overall needed for them to challenge for the league, but Harry Kane is that icing on the cake to get them guarantee that they win the league. So if this is one step closer to Harry Kane leaving Tottenham and Man City getting him, it's the bitter taste that these Man City fans might have to swallow for one day, because once they get Harry Kane, they're going to be challenging for every single major trophy. And Tottenham, if Harry Kane does leave and you get that type of money, I'm actually worried how they're going to reinvest that money, because they might reinvest it properly, because they're run quite well as a football entity. They might not win trophies, but they're run quite well when it comes to managing their wage bill and being able to sign players on loan when they need to, and being able to sign players for cheap deals. And Daniel Levy, as much as these Spurs fans don't like him, he is a chief negotiator, and he's going to get as much as he can from Harry Kane.
Do you know what's really interesting about what you said there? Negotiating thing, I totally get, and I understand that completely. Nuno, I agree with you. Top manager. There's no doubt about that. You know, he's absolutely top class. We can't get away from that one. But the Man City element, and we're going to get a bit of a panel together later and talk about this in more detail. You are right. They started slowly last year, and they actually reminded me of last season's start as well, where they weren't the same City. They weren't as clicky as you would expect them to be. However, Chelsea weren't the team they are now a year ago. Liverpool will be improved this year. Man United have improved this year. I don't know if they're going to get the opportunity to start that badly again, even if they could then go on like a 10-game winning streak. The only reason that they, if Man United were the team, were a year further on, or Chelsea were a year further on, I don't think they might not have been able to get away with it. And I said the other day, Man United especially have a really good advantage in these opening 5 or 6 games. We're not playing any of the Dons. We're not playing any of the big boys. Doesn't mean we're going to win all of our games. That would be a stupid thing to say. But a lot of the big boys play each other, and they're all going to take points off of one another. That's why for us, it's key here. But let's see what happens. Arsenal have got to play City in a week or two's time. That's always a difficult game in recent years, or has been at times a difficult game for Man City as well. They might not be all guns blazing by then. Harry Kane, of course, he's going to make them favourites. He's very interesting indeed. It's gone, mate.
I'll admit this right now. You can clip this, whatever you want to do. But unfortunately, Arsenal does have the least experience and the worst manager out of all the top 6 clubs currently. So that is I've come to that conclusion.
Wow. Igal's saying that. Listen, bro, we'll put you backstage, get you back on with the panel in a little bit. Top man. Thank you, Igal. V3 here says, this is football, Igal. Go and play water polo with your Arsenal team. Getting kicked as an excuse. Jesse Dyer here says, if you go back and watch this weekend's games, every ref has been more lenient. This is probably because the rule changes. I think it's improved the competition. I hope it continues. I have to agree with that. It has been more lenient. It has been, they've allowed a bit more rough and tumble. They've allowed a few stronger tackles. And I know we want our players protected. We don't want to see lunges where studs are shown. We don't want to see 2-footed tackles. But there's nothing wrong with letting people get away with shoulder barges, being physical. I don't like cynical fouls. When you beat a man, they drag you back. I've always felt like a yellow card and a sin bin should be given for that, because you can never get that advantage back. But Tanganga just putting a bit of a, putting his thigh into Grealish's legs, using his strength. That's fair. That's how you level these things up. And if Grealish and Raheem Sterling are not up for the fight, that is purely and simply on them. There's no doubt about it at all. The link is in the live comments if you want to phone up and have your say. We want to hear from you right about now. Omar, one of our brilliant members, says Mendy was atrocious. Listen, how Mendy is still at Man City is beyond me. Tahir says this week, no interference from VAR. Which, what's interesting, VAR is involved, but they've done something very, very brilliant with VAR, and I'm really glad that you brought this up, because VAR now essentially, and I don't know, I need to read on the protocols on this so I get my knowledge down. But the lines for offside are thicker, which means when it's borderline now, you're going to get more onside than offsides. But they're not showing us. So none of us are debating it. We're just accepting the decision. Oh, we don't know because we haven't seen it, right? I feel full transparency is better. I can accept a decision when I see it. I actually don't like this as much, but football as a general rule seems to be happy with not seeing it. So I'll go with the consensus. Equally, they are reviewing things. They're just not talking about it as much. They're not making it front and center. All the same things are happening. They're just being a little. They've changed a few of the laws of the game, and it's made it easier for VAR. But absolutely, less interference because they're not ramming it down our throats. They're not ramming it down our throats at all. Rubbles here says Gal would cry in his car after this. Listen, it's week 1, but I can feel a gal's pressure already. Ladies and gentlemen, keep smashing that like and that share button and subscribe to the Football Terrace. Rack is on the show with us next. Rack, welcome back to the Terrace, mate.
Yeah, look, Miguel's my guy, man, but you can't start blaming fouls for that performance. I think Spurs, they had some really, really good performances. I thought Moura was brilliant, Tanganga brilliant, Son obviously. He there's a couple of chances that he kind of turned away and didn't really capitalise on the opportunities that were potentially there, but then he got the goal. And it's just interesting when you have a club like, as a Man United fan, Liverpool as a club have counted out many times. When you have that adversity, when you're going up against arguably the best team in England, and your best player is not on the pitch for whatever reason, that has a tendency to bring people together. And you got to give nothing but credit to Spurs. They were great today. They rode their luck a little bit, but that's football. You have to take the rough with the smooth. And I think overall they did well to get the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your thoughts now on what's going to happen with this Harry Kane situation?
I mean, what I want to happen is I want him to stay at Spurs because, Harry Kane at City would be is a difficult thing to think about because, inevitably he's going to definitely make them stronger. It depends how stubborn Daniel Levy is, and we know Daniel Levy can be stubborn. The reports that I've seen suggest that he's willing to stick it out, and he's not going to let him go to City, at least not this summer. I mean, I don't think Man stay where he is, but City have just got financial muscle that no other team can compete with. So if he goes, that Daniel Levy isn't adverse to being a deal if necessary. So respect to Spurs. At the day, this is their day, and when you saw the sight at the end where you have that packed stadium, Son's walking around and everyone's applauding him, like that's a pretty awe-inspiring image, and respect them because Spurs as well have had a lot of stick.
Absolutely. Top man, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much indeed. A few connection issues there in the wind and stuff, but completely hear what he's saying. Next on the show, we've got Ads. Ads is with us. What you saying, bro?
I'm very good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. What did you make of Tottenham's performance today and Man City's? Give me your overarching views on the way it went.
For me, I don't think either team were great. I know Spurs won. I think it was a solidified performance. I wouldn't say it was great or majorly impressive. I just think they got the job done. 1-0, one great goal from Son. And yeah, man, I think that's what Tottenham are going to have to do if Kane leaves. Especially, obviously, the highlights, obviously, he wants to go to City. I think he will go to City eventually. However, if he does, I've just read a comment there about players potentially shining when he leaves. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he is their main man, and I think if he does leave, it's over for Spurs. But I think it will be over for a while until they obviously plug into the investment line and getting some new players. And obviously, when they sell Kane, they'll have a lot of money to spend, and they won't just get one player and spend all their money on one youth. I think they'll spend their money on quite a few players. But overall, today they proved that they don't need Kane to win a game.
Yeah, they did. I mean, do you know what? I tend to disagree with that in the sense of somebody will step up. Now, there won't be one individual player, in my opinion, that will score as many as Harry Kane does, because they come along once in a blue moon across the whole Premier League, let alone each individual team. But they'll find a way. They'll find if they invest that money right, they can find a way to get back to at least what Spurs were doing, trying to qualify or qualifying for the Champions League. And I have faith more in Nuno than anything else. He's such a sensational manager who I think has been really disrespected by Tottenham fans mainly, like really disrespected by Tottenham fans. Barring, I know Poch has done some really good stuff. They're not a club that can attract the creme de la creme, the people at the peak of their powers, the Klopps, the Contes. They nearly got Conte, but their ambitions didn't align. So they have to shop the next level down. And I think Nuno is one of the best in that kind of next down category. So it's going to be interesting. In terms of Harry Kane, do you see that deal going through, Ads?
I mean, everyone can say that they want it to happen, and blindly say that they don't think it will, but I think it will, man. Honestly, I'm scared, yes, but I have to be truthful and unbiased. I think it will happen eventually, whether it's this season or not. It's definitely going to be either now or next season. And if it does happen, then we're just gonna have to see who the winners are of this season. If it is City, I think more than likely he'll join. But it also depends on Tottenham's placement. If they finish in the top 5, then who knows, man? It could definitely be a drastic change in Kane's mind, because he's kind of torn between the two at the moment, I'm guessing. I don't want to say for definite, but if he does go to City, then like I said before, the league is pretty much in his favour.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Ads, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Man, thank you. I do want to take some calls on Jack Grealish. What did you make of the £100 million Premier League debut for Manchester City today? We are going to speak on that a little bit later. We're going to go to Jamie Phillips next to come on and have his say. Jamie, welcome back to the terrace, mate.
Hi,
little baby there in tow as well.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right, mate. That's all right, mate. Remind everyone who you support and what you're here to say.
So I'm a Liverpool fan.
Yep.
First, I want to say I was very impressed with Tottenham today. I thought they played very well. I thought they were very good defensively, and on the counter attack, I think they were really good. They had a good half dozen opportunities to score more than one goal today, I thought, personally. I am very shocked by Man City, to be fair. It's another slow start like last season, and they can't afford a slow start this season. For me, Liverpool, Man United and Chelsea are far better this season. Especially Liverpool now we've got our players back. Man United have bought very well, and so have Chelsea. City's squad depth, is it as good as the media make it out to be? I look at their defence. Ake, 40 million, is he that? I don't know. Their 2 left backs, I look at them, I don't think they're up to much. Right backs, yeah, they're good there, and no killer striker, and they've got all this money, and for me, wasted it on Jack Grealish. I don't understand why they needed Jack Grealish over a striker first. Personally, I think they should have gone and got Kane first, and then maybe have bought Jack Grealish if they needed to. But for me, Jack Grealish was a waste of money. And I, as a Liverpool fan, I don't fear Jack Grealish in a Man City top. If Harry Kane goes to Man City, then I fear that more, if that makes sense.
Mate, I get the point you're making there. I really, really do. I'll see what the viewers have got. Listen, I'll let you get back to your little one, mate. You look after yourself, bro, and we'll speak to you again soon. Top man, Jamie. And I wanted to bring up Jack Grealish today. A waste of money, according to Jamie there, the Liverpool fan. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. You get your comments in. You can phone up now and have your say. The link is pinned to the live comment section. You shouldn't be able to miss it. It's blue, bright blue in your face. Want to speak about him. Panel coming on soon. Next caller I'm going to go to is, I'm going to go to Kai. Kai's here with us now. What you saying, mate?
Yo, how you doing, Terry?
Yeah, I'm good. What you here to say, my friend?
All right, so basically, I just want to talk about Harry Kane, bro.
Yep.
All right, so look, you see Harry Kane, right? Like he is Spurs' best player, right? I understand that, right? But I feel like if he's not in the team, the whole team plays better. It's just like how Chelsea used to be back in the days. It's like when Hazard was in the team, like we actually perform better. But like what you call it? When we play like the big games, if Hazard is not on it or like is not in the game, the whole team we tend to like go down a little bit. Like we don't perform to like how we're supposed to be performing. So I feel like if Harry Kane leaves Spurs, they're gonna be okay, bro. Like it's gonna allow the other players to shine more. Cause as you seen today, like they had like a chip on their back. They wanted to show like, yeah, like we're not all about Harry Kane. The whole team is actually good for ourselves, bro. Like we can like we're not like just like nobodies, bro.
Do you know what? I think you're absolutely spot on. I don't believe in this notion that if one particular player leaves, a club falls apart.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because the club falls apart if there's no plan to replace. So Arsenal, after losing Vieira and Petit and Perez and Henry, fell apart because it didn't replace either with like for like or same level quality. You know, you had like Cesc Fabregas coming through, so the midfield remained good. But you need to do that as long as Spurs buy quality players. You can't replace Harry Kane with Danny Ings. I think you've got to look for something a little bit different. Somebody maybe with more versatility. Someone maybe like Lautaro Martinez as an example. And another up-and-coming young, you know, someone like Vlahovic. Like, you know, this is what you need to do. But as long as they're invested in good quality players, they will be okay. Great call, mate. Thank you very much indeed for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, buddy. Top man. Thank you. There's a comment here from Ian Lee that says, playing Grealish and Sterling seem weird to me. Defo didn't work today. Play one or the other. And maybe that's what it was for Grealish today. Maybe, just maybe, they were kind of in each other's way a little bit. Maybe that's what the problem there was. We've got Glenn here now. Glenn is a Tottenham fan. Welcome back to the terrace. What do you want to say, buddy?
What is going on? Yeah, man. That was, well, I can't even lie. Every single time people are asking me what the result was going to be, like the predictions, I was like, look, I'd be happy with a draw. Because I was not expecting us to pull that one out the bag. So that was a fantastic result. Actually, like, I was really happy with some of the performances as well. Like, it was good to see Delhi actually sort of fight for his position. Do you know what I mean? And actually, like, really get stuck in. Like, I feel like the passion's actually returning there. Me personally, I still want to see, like, Delhi sort of get sold. Like, this is kind of the last season that decider. But it was good to see that. It was good to just honestly just watch us be on the counter attack, but also still look pretty like dangerous on the counter attack as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we thought, like, not having Kane, oh, okay, cool. Like, maybe the sting is going to be out of the tail a little bit. We still have some players there that can actually sort of at least apply the pressure. Like, Moura is fantastic in the first 2/3, maybe the last third. I say his finishing is, do you know what I mean? It sort of leaves a little bit to be desired. But, like, regardless, he's there. You've got yourself Bergwijn, who still needs a little bit more time as well, because that one kind of, you know what I mean, that missed chance, that sort of gave me Liverpool vibes. I was getting a little bit worried when I saw that, when he missed that one. But regardless, I think, like, we looked pretty crispy. After the first, let's say, 20 minutes. At the start, I was thinking, okay, these guys are trying to, like, City's trying to kill this game, like, nice and quick. Like, and we were a little bit, do you know what I mean? Like, we weren't really trying to press the issue too much. Like, we weren't really breaking the way we were, like, in the second half. Like, second half, we were looking fantastic. Ultimately, I was just happy to see. I was happy to see us play like that without Kane. And I think that was a real message to, like, sort of the City higher-ups as well. Like, I think they might actually want to splash out that cash for Kane.
Yeah, mate, I agree. I think they will. And look, today will be food for thought and encouragement. This Spurs team, in my opinion, will not die if Harry Kane leaves.
Yes.
It will not. Equally, though, I don't think, strange to say it, I think they've put so much emphasis, Man City, on getting a goal scorer in that they now need it. They don't get it. I think there's going to be a deflated feeling where I think Spurs players, I'm not saying they've turned on Harry Kane, but I think Spurs players would have had meetings between themselves, you know, probably orchestrated by the likes of Son, saying, look, if Harry Kane comes back, we welcome him and we fight hard. But the whole world's telling us that we're a finished club, that we're just above relegation battlers without Harry Kane. Exactly. That is going to that galvanizes people. And I said it months ago the famous example, when Everton were about to sell Wayne Rooney, well, they did sell Wayne Rooney in the summer of 2004. People started predicting them to go down after having a pretty good season. It was their greatest ever Premier League season. They finished fourth. Their greatest ever Premier League season, they came fourth. And Moyes' best ever season. And a lot of that was the team galvanized and probably played slightly above itself. And if Spurs play well and above themselves, they can challenge for the top four, mate. I think to write them off before a ball's kicked was crazy, especially with your manager, mate. Especially with your manager there.
Yeah.
He's very good. I want to talk about Tanganga as well, though, to a Spurs fan. How impressed were you with his performance today?
Very, very, very impressed. Very impressed. I'm glad that honestly the Galatasaray move looks like it's not happening, because a lot of Spurs fans, we've always been like, no, we just need to give him the minutes, give him the chance. Do you know what I mean? And he'll get stuck in. And honestly, look, man, he was pocketed. Like I'm gonna say it, bro. Like, pocketing Sterling. Do you know what I mean? Grealish, had Grealish rattled. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, like he put in a fantastic performance. Definitely a man of the match for me. And I'm so glad, like he's. Do you know what I mean? Like Doherty is good for like squad depth and that, but I think, I think the options. I think having the options is good for us, and not having to start Doherty, even though Nuno is going to be like the right person to sort of get a tune out of Doherty. I think just having Tanganga start, I think I'm loving it, and I would really like to see how far we can push that. I also, to be honest with you, Son, I still don't like him as a forward, and it works, but I don't know about that working for a whole season. I still think we need ourselves a striker, whether Kane comes off the bench, gets fit, whatever, or we can get a Martinez or a Vlahovic through the door. I think that with like someone who works well with Mora, I think it's just
I think you're definitely going to bring a striker in if Harry Kane leaves. That Levy isn't going to let the deal happen unless there's a man lined up, and that's a big part of this as well. I keep hearing the tier one say, "Oh, City ready to bid if Spurs change their mind." No, City have already bid, in my opinion, via an informal means, and they're waiting for Spurs to see whether they can find a replacement and then make a final decision to say, right, what do we do? Because I think if Harry Kane leaves, genuinely believe there's a possibility of both Martinez and Vlahovic. Vlahovic, sorry, that's how you pronounce it. If Harry Kane stays, maybe one of them comes in. I think you might go for two if Harry Kane leaves. And Spurs are just getting all their ducks in a row. But brother, thank you very much for your call. Great opinions, great energy too.
Come on, you Spurs.
There we go. Apex Limited here says Grealish allows you to get behind the ball allows you to get behind the ball and back into position because of the amount of touches that he has. City at their best when they try and pull out of positions with quick transitions. Great player, but the wrong for City's system. Do you know what's really interesting? Thank you very much for that wonderful donation. What's interesting about what you say about Jack Grealish? My concern when he joined Manchester City was, of course, not about his ability in any way, in any shape or any form. His ability is, in my opinion, undeniable. But it is how is he going to fit into a rigid system? For all the quality football, for the speed, for the transitions, for the approach play, it is a rigid system. Everybody has a role and you stick to it to within an inch of your life. That, for me, is what I see a Pep Guardiola system as its basic fundamentals. Jack Grealish is a free spirit. Go back and watch the game again and look at the amount of space on that left-hand side of the midfield. When he pushed forward and he was occupying those wide left positions, maybe just on the inside center of the left as well, there was huge holes that the likes of Mora and Son were and Bergwijn before he switched, but they were continuously exploiting because he doesn't have the defensive or positional discipline to stay there. Now, he either has to play as the number, the sort of the inside forward on the left with a three-man midfield behind him who are going to remain disciplined, or he's going to have to completely and utterly adapt his game if he is to work at Manchester City. Today, for me, I didn't have any issues with his touch, with his ability, with his dribbling as such. It was more what happens when the ball was dispossessed, because for the first time in nearly a year, we started seeing all these holes in the Man City team again that were being exploited. And that's something that I think Guardiola and Jack Grealish himself as an individual have most certainly got to address before moving forward. They absolutely have to. We've got another super chat here from Carl that says Grealish is a ball up at £100 million. City should have prioritized Kane. This game had a bit of clog in the wing. Impressed with death rate. I don't know what that means. I'm trying to understand what the end bit means. I don't get it, unless that's a phrase that I'm just not familiar with. Maybe they regret. Maybe they regret him. Maybe they'll regret it if they don't. Imagine they don't get Harry Kane in, or they ain't got enough money left there. Stop talking and read our opinions as well. Okay, I've read loads, bro. I've read loads. What are you talking about? I kind of agree with that super chat, but I think Pep will find a way to fit him in. He's analyzing him yet, so it's still way too early to judge. And that's what I do agree with. I'm just giving you an opinion on what is a concern, and I'm sure the same there from A-Spec Limited. However, he has to do one of those two things. Because if City keep having that midfield area with holes in, of course they'll batter the majority of teams outside the top 8. But when you start going up against teams with better footballers, when you give them that, imagine the counter-attack was great today. Can you imagine Chelsea's counter-attack, Liverpool's counter-attack, Man United's counter-attack against the City team if they allow that kind of hole? It doesn't actually matter how good or bad your left back is. They're going to be exposed. And to speed, when you're exposed, listen, I remember seeing a few times where Ashley Young was exposed to Cristiano Ronaldo where there was nothing in front of him. And it was just, and you're playing a high line. You get done. You can't help it. There's very little that you can do no matter how good you are as a defender. So I totally hear you on that. Guardiola is trying to do the smart guy. He is telling to the bosses that he needs Kane. Okay, you're trying to say like it was a ploy to, not a ploy to lose. Maybe. But I think they've already put the bid in. I've already readied it anyway. I'm going to bring a gal back on now. Gonna take some calls, get a little bit of a panel going as well with some of you others in the background. Make sure you hit that like and that share button. Let's do this, people. Let's go. Yes, a gal, we're back. We're going to add a few people in to have their say with this as well. Remember, this is rival chat, so you don't have to be a Spurs fan to come on and speak. I want to ask you a question, though, about the Premier League in general. How impressed have you been with the opening weekend?
There's always a lot of goals, Terry. It's always a lot of surprises. But you know what? This week, the biggest surprise is probably Arsenal losing and Tottenham winning this game. But the goals, I feel like every single year we're just going to get more and more goals, because I did not expect the Newcastle West Ham game to be a 5-goal thriller. I did not expect some of these games to be so high scoring. But hey, I just feel like the technical ability of these players and the quality of the teams just allows way more attacking threat from even the lower teams. You see Norwich attacking, you see Brentford attacking, you see all these teams lower down the table attacking. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice to see. But hey, Arsenal ruined my weekend, so I don't really want to talk about
do you know what? It must be legitimately, it must be so difficult to watch this brilliant Premier League weekend when your team has lost. Like it simply has to. Like, I'm so glad Man United won and won well. It's meant that all the other teams' victories around me, like the top 6 rivals and everything else, it's not hurt as much because it feels like because we won, you know.
Terry, just look at every single team in the Premier League and look at their attacking threat that every team has. I have not seen the Premier League be this threatening when it comes to teams lower down the table having so much attackers. You can tell that we're attacking league now. You're going to see high-scoring games every single week. I don't think you're going to see as many 0-0s as we used to see back in the early to late 2000s.
Do you know what's interesting for me as well, mate? I think that the players want to give back to the fans. It's this element of fans are going to be demanding it. You know, 18 months away from the game, people locked in their homes, lack of entertainment. You know, every ground has been pumping this weekend, and it hasn't actually mattered what the fan base has been. Listening to it, to me as an individual, has been absolutely inspiring. We're going to add some more people to this call now to come on and have their say. We're going to add Donnie James is in the house with us now. We're also going to add, who am I picking? Who am I picking here to come on and have their say? We're going to pick Harvey Dunn. Been a while since Harvey Dunn's been on the show. How's it going, Harvey? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Terry. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Remind us who you support.
Spurs.
Yeah, I thought you were Spurs. And that's been a while since we've had a conversation.
That's all right. Yes, fine.
Just give me your
Take
take.
it easy on me, man.
Give me your take on your team's performance today, brother.
Oh, it was fantastic. Brilliant performance. I knew we'd win, actually, before the game started, because we always beat City. That's 3 years in a row now. We've beaten City at home, they seem to have a hoodoo at our ground. Yeah, it was brilliant when everyone played really, really well. I thought the defence, I thought Højbjerg and Skip in the defensive mid-role were absolutely brilliant. I thought Sanchez and Dyer were brilliant. Thought Son, obviously, and Lucas had an absolute stormer of game. Thought our whole team together played really, really well. And I think Nuno, I know a lot of Spurs fans have been writing off Nuno since he's come in, but I think he's a really good manager. I think he's an up-and-coming manager, one of these young managers that's got a lot to prove for himself. So, yeah, I'm really happy with the appointment, and long may it continue. And I think we'll have a fairly good season. I don't think necessarily we'll get top 4, but I think we'll cause a lot of the big teams problems this year and probably get a few results off them, definitely.
Mate, you will. And listen, I probably backed Nuno more than any Spurs fan I've seen on socials. He's a top quality manager, and if you'd have signed him as the direct replacement for Poch when he left, there wouldn't have been the outcry, because it was after an average season with Wolves, and he suddenly wasn't flavour of the month. There were suddenly 2 or 3 new names that had emerged through Europe.
I think as well. I think Nuno needed a fresh challenge. You get to a club, you've been there 4 or 5 years, you need a new challenge, don't you? Because a lot of managers get stale, like Poch had it. I think 4 or 5 years at a club is now these days a long time for a manager to be. I think Nuno needed just a new challenge. I think he's come to the right club. I think he'll do really well for us. And like you said, I think in hindsight, we probably should have got him after Poch left, because he was doing really well for Wolves at the time. I think Mourinho, we've got him at the wrong time, and he'd already passed his sell-by date. So I think Nuno will definitely do well. I think, just if Kane goes, I'll be disappointed, because Kane's given me some of my best ever moments as a Spurs fan. But you've got to move on in life. No one player doesn't make a team at all. It's all about a collective team. You see the teams that won the league over years necessarily don't have just one individual player does not win you the league. So I think we could probably even do better without Kane if we invest well with the money. So if I was league, I'd probably cash him now. 160 million, and invest wisely. And I think we've been linked to a few players, I think Martinez and players like that. I think if we invest well on the Kane money, I think there's no reason why this team can't have another cycle and possibly in another 2-3 years challenge for the league if we spend the money wisely.
I totally get where you're coming from. Donny James, how about yourself, mate? Give me your take on this opening weekend of Premier League action.
First of all, just to give you a heads up, if I suddenly mute my mic and my camera goes off, BBC Radio 5 Live's calling me back. So just to put you on heads notice, speaking to Robert Savage and all that. I think this opening weekend has been fantastic. Obviously, I'm unhappy with my result yesterday in the derby. It was disgraceful.
Yeah, you got slapped.
We were actually, to be fair, we were playing good, and then we gave away 2 goals and missed a penalty because Omar Bogle hasn't scored in 2 years. So, we won't be relegated. But I think the opening weekend's been great. It's been great to see Brentford playing so dangerously. I think it's been wonderful to see Tottenham get the win over City. Sorry, Gal. And I think that for Arsenal fans, Arsenal fans are going to need counselling this weekend after the opening weekend. But yeah, it's been a decent opening weekend. I think some performers have done really well. Adam Armstrong for Southampton getting that goal on his debut. Trust me, look out for Adam Armstrong, because I think he's a brilliant up-and-coming talent. I think Watford have really surprised us a lot. But to be fair, watching the NFL last season, I wasn't surprised with Watford, because I think that the likes of Sarr were great in the league last season. I think that other players did very, very well. And I think Aston Villa are trying to sort of adjust to life without Jack Grealish now. So it's just a case of let's see what happens. But for the opening weekend, I couldn't be happier, to be honest.
Listen, I hear what you're all saying here. I've got a super chat from Jerome. This is well done, boys. Very, very proud of those boys. With Romero coming to assure our defense, we are fine. Truly disappointed that with Kane not even on the pitch to play, sell him and bring a striker or 2. And I know you kind of alluded to it, Harvey, already. This is what the positive element is here to look at. Reinvest that money that you get for Harry Kane and you future-proof your team. Like Lautaro Martinez has a very high ceiling. The lad whose name I keep butchering, Vlahovic.
Yeah, it might be Vlahovic, yeah.
I've heard 4 people say, I was listening to 2 different radio stations today, and I was listening to a report on Sky, and I heard it being said 3 different ways. So turns out, we only learned this season that we've all been saying Dynamo Kiev the wrong way for 25 years, but we know who we're talking about. You sign those 2 players as a replacement. suddenly your attacking group, I'm not saying
It's
become
improved.
better, but it's more versatile. There's suddenly more options than what you've had before, because you've had, in my eyes, you've kind of had Kane and Son. That's
been
it.
the two main
And-
men carrying the team.
Yeah, and then one of them gets injured, and then it's too much pressure on the other. You might end up in a situation where you can suddenly start relying on three, and then you get the odd good performances from the other guys around them. Like Moura today, if Moura played like this for 80% of the season, he'd be a contender player of the year.
But Moura's work rate was unbelievable. Even when every corner, I think he was mainly the person that was defending all the corners. His work rate was unbelievable. And I think Bergwijn is a good player. He's only been with us 18 months. I know he missed a City. He should have scored today probably. He did the same at Anfield last year, but I think that's to do with lack of confidence and not getting enough game time. I think if you give Bergwijn a full 90 in, I don't know, 5-6 games in a row, I think he might start to score 5 to 10 goals or something. He'll start to score more goals and more chances he gets given as well.
Mate, I hear you on that completely. Before we end the show, I want to get your take, Gal. Who've been your stars of the weekend so far? Your favorite team, best performers, and who've been the bums? Who's top bins and who's in the bin, Gal?
Okay, so you have to put Pogba, Bruno, and Salah as the 3 best performers this week, getting collectively each got 3 outlets, either goals or assists each. When it comes to bum of the week, who has underperformed to the highest level?
Arteta.
No, definitely gonna put anybody in relation to Arsenal. But I'm talking about someone who played and didn't actually perform well, who's touted as one of the best players in the Premier League. Who could that be? When it comes to City, they underperformed, yes, and the whole team was poor. But the person who I would look at the most is probably Jack Grealish, because everyone's looking at Jack Grealish saying you have to perform when you're a £100 million player. We know Graham Souness's agenda against that he's had against Pogba, so people are going to expect a lot from Jack Grealish. I know it's tough to say from the first game, but he did underperform. I think he should have got some more of those fouls called against Spurs, but it didn't go their way. That's one. And if you're going to say the team that underperformed the most, it's a difficult one, but it always has to be Arsenal, of course. So Arsenal is going to be the team that underperformed the most. We can't be losing to a championship team. So bottom.
Yeah.
How about relegation?
I hear you, bro. How about yourself, Harvey? Who would you give it to? It can be a team or a player, top bins and in the bin.
Worst team underperformed, Arteta, and I had to say Grealish as well. Is underperformed the player in the bin. Team that have been the best, obviously, is Man United. You had to say United because they scored 5 yesterday. I think Fernandes has been player of the weekend, definitely. I'd say United and Fernandes top bin. I'd say in the bin Arteta and Grealish. But I'd say Brentford, though, on Friday, they played really, really well.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, and I agree. I think Donny James is at to drop. Oh, he's back now. Donny, yeah, give me your top. You on the phone? Yeah, do BBC 5 Live. It's cool. Do it, bro. You haven't got to do both at the same time. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna do mine actually. Look, it's very easy for me to pick Manchester United. It's very easy for me to do that because of what we did. Pogba, Bruno. I am gonna go with Brentford because their first ever Premier League game. The noise, the emotion, the atmosphere they generated for all of us at home.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine, mate. I mean, absolutely sensational.
Terry, could I?
In the bin, I'm also not going to go for Arsenal because I think that's just too obvious. It's too easy to say Arsenal should be in the bin. I'm actually going to go with Newcastle and Steve Bruce because they took the lead today. They were in front. I thought they were fairly comfortable, and they didn't just throw it away. They capitulated like an old man's bowels with diarrhea. It was just gone. It just gone. Do you know what I mean? Thought he was letting out a fart and shit himself. It was just ridiculous. Like I've seen things like it before, but it was embarrassing. Arsenal were just outplayed and outmuscled, and you could see it coming every minute. Where with Newcastle, they were the better team for large parts, and then boom. And for me, top bins this weekend, Brentford. In the bin this weekend, Newcastle United. That's what I'm going to go with. Jerome here says, agree with the gal. Salah, Pogba, Bruno. Bum is Harry Kane for not even showing up, is what Jerome has got to say. V33 says, predicting City to bounce back up the Arsenal game. That in itself, that is a very, very, very solid prediction indeed. Listen, everybody that's tuned in. Sorry, go on, Gal.
I was gonna say something. Yeah, guys, we got absolutely destroyed by Brentford. I didn't get to do the full match reaction that I always usually do, Terry. I just want to say, remember when I was on here before the game and I said this game is set up for the upset. It's set up for Arsenal to lose. It's set up for everything to go wrong. It's set up for all the for everything to happen and for us to lose. Honestly, Terry, in my heart of hearts, I felt like we're gonna lose. I genuinely did. I felt like going into that first game, we're going to lose. When I woke up, you seen me ranting about Edu. You seen everything going on about Arsenal. This season is going to be utter shambolic. We've gone from trying to get James Maddison and Onana to now getting Aaron Ramsdale and Coutinho. It's ridiculous. Just look at the downgrade in our recruitment. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not going to rant and rave. I'm just going to say this whole thing about Arteta. I've seen a lot of people say to me, Arteta should have been out from the beginning of the season. I'm not saying I'm Arteta out. I'm not saying I'm Arteta in. But at this point, the writing's on the wall. If he cannot get a win from either City or Chelsea, which is going to be really difficult, and we are sitting with 0 points after 3 games, at that point, eventually, you have to start looking at it, be like, yo, I can no longer protect this guy. As a manager, I will not ever again put my neck on the line for Arteta for the rest of the season. I'm done.
Again, I think you guys will beat Chelsea next week. I think because you guys always beat Chelsea at home, don't you? I think you guys will beat Chelsea because you got a good record at home against Chelsea. I think
there's hope. There's hope that we could beat Chelsea, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying anybody who's saying Eagles Arteta in, Eagles back in Arteta to Eagles Arteta sexual, don't categorize me in that category. I'm done.
It's going to be an interesting one the next week or so as we build up to it. Lots of news coming later on today on the Football Terrace. Of course, Midnight Vibes is back. I'm even breaking it tomorrow morning, but with some big Arsenal news, some big Tottenham news as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the Football Terrace. Hit that like and that share button, people. If you're watching over on Give Me Sport, thank you. If you're watching on Give Me Sport, as I mentioned, come across to the Football Terrace. Come and subscribe to our channel now over on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure you follow. And for everyone else here on YouTube, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again.